Throughout history, humans have eaten some bizarre foods. From ancient delicacies to strange meals served at royal banquets, we're counting down the top 8 weirdest foods in history. Let's dive in. Starting off, we have ancient Egyptian mummified meat. Did you know that the ancient Egyptians didn't just mummify people, they mummified their food too? One of the strangest foods in history is mummified meat, like beef and poultry, preserved for the afterlife. Pharaohs believed they'd need food in the next world, so they packed their tombs with carefully wrapped cuts of meat. The process was similar to human mummification, using salts, oils, and resins to stop decay. Some of these meats have lasted over 3,000 years. Imagine discovering an ancient steak. It's one of the weirdest artifacts found in tombs. Delicacies prepared not for dinner, but eternity. Next up at number 7. Ever heard of garum? The Romans loved this stuff. But what is it exactly? Well, brace yourself. Garum was a fermented fish sauce. They made it by mixing fish guts with salt and leaving it to rot under the hot sun for weeks. And believe it or not, this fishy concoction was a luxury in ancient Rome. They used it on everything, from meats to vegetables, much like we use ketchup or soy sauce today. It was so popular, they traded it all across the empire. But the smell? Let's just say it wasn't for the faint of heart. While garum may sound weird, it paved the way for modern sauces like the fish sauce used in Asian cuisine. Next up at number 6. Did you know that one of the weirdest foods in history comes from Iceland? It's called Hákarl, fermented shark. Hákarl is made from the Greenland shark, which is toxic if eaten fresh due to high levels of urea and trimethylamine oxide. So, how do Icelanders eat it? They let it rot. Traditionally, the shark meat is buried for months to ferment. Then, it's hung to dry for several more months, resulting in a pungent, ammonia-like smell. Some say it smells like cleaning chemicals. Despite its strong odor, Hákarl has been a staple in Icelandic culture for centuries. Vikings even ate it for survival. Would you try this ancient dish? Next up, at number 5. Did you know the Aztecs had one of the most shocking dishes in history? Introducing Aztec Human blood pudding. Yeah, you heard that right. In Aztec culture, human sacrifice was common, and blood played a crucial role in their rituals. But here's where things get bizarre. They actually used human blood in some of their food. This gruesome delicacy involved mixing blood with maize to create a pudding-like mixture, which was then cooked and eaten. Why did they do this? The Aztecs believed consuming blood connected them with the gods, ensuring prosperity and balance in their world. Up next, at number 4, imagine sitting at a medieval banquet, the air filled with the smell of roasted meats and fresh bread. But suddenly, the grand dish of the night arrives, a live frog pie. In medieval Europe, royalty and nobles would sometimes feast on pies filled with live frogs. But here's the twist. It wasn't about eating them. When the pie was cut open, frogs would leap out, creating a lively spectacle. These pies were designed to entertain guests, a show of wealth and luxury, as frogs bounced around the room, shocking and delighting everyone. So, while it wasn't exactly a meal, it definitely made for one of the weirdest dishes in history. Would you ever open a pie like that? Next at 3, the beaver tail stew. That's right, early settlers would actually cook up beaver tails as a hearty meal. Why? Beaver tails were packed with fat, making them a valuable source of energy during harsh winters. The tail had a gelatinous, chewy texture that was boiled down into a stew. Colonists thought it was a delicacy, and it was even considered a luxury food. Back then, survival meant eating whatever you could, and beavers were abundant. So, while it may sound strange today, for colonists, this was a meal that got them through the toughest times. Coming up next, at number 2, fermented horse milk. Yes, you heard that right. For centuries, Mongol warriors relied on this strange drink made from mare's milk. It's called kumis, and it was a staple in the harsh, nomadic life of the Mongols. They would milk their horses, leave it to ferment, and it turns into an alcoholic drink. Kumis was packed with energy, and the alcohol helped preserve it in the wild. This weird drink gave Mongols the stamina they needed to conquer vast empires. Even Genghis Khan himself was said to drink kumis. Fermented horse milk may sound strange to us today, but it was crucial to one of the most powerful civilizations in history. Would you give it a try? And finally, at number 1, did you know that one of ancient Rome's weirdest delicacies was roasted dormice? Yep, tiny rodents, baked and served as a luxury dish. Rich Romans loved to stuff these little creatures with nuts, herbs, and honey before roasting them to perfection. This wasn't your everyday snack, though. Dormice were reserved for the wealthiest citizens and special banquets, showing off their status. They even kept dormice in special jars called gleraria to fatten them up before cooking. Weird, right? But in ancient Rome, it was considered the height of fine dining. From fermented shark to fishy sauces, history has seen its fair share of weird foods. Some were delicacies, others were survival food, but all of them definitely weird by today's standards. If you enjoyed this journey through history's strangest dishes, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more crazy facts from the past. See you in the next video.